We've covered the first leg of the quaddie, which is the Winter Stake, and we're up to race 7, which is a 1200 metre race. First of 2 benchmark 1200 metre races that at the end third of the card. And this one is a skinny affair. It sees El Sasso favourite at $2.85, out to Paint at $5. Next pick is Grand Punto at $7.50, Barbed at $9.50. Next pick Sweet Fire at $13. A number of resumers here, Aaron, and good speed in this race. We've got Slade on Edge out from the deep, who's trialled up and can be expected to press forward. Barbed is on the fresh side and drawn out. Obviously El Sasso will poke up along the inside. Paint only had 1 blemish to his on-pace record, and that was 2 starts back. And Aroused is a 1,000 metre horse that's going to sit on the speed here, stepping up to 1200.
I found this a super tricky race.
Well, the thing is that it should be stated from the outset, El Sasso found a perfect race the other day, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like everything went right for it.
Everything. It kind of looked he's right for it. He's such a funny horse to find for me at times, but when he puts it all together, he wins like a good horse. So you think, oh, maybe he's better than this grade, and then he seems to just find his level again. Can he put 2 wins together?
Well, he can, but I'm certainly not. I'm not going to be unequivocally in his camp.
Yeah.
No, I am going to be equivocal about him because he won at 1100. Everything went right. He now comes to 1200 and he draws Gate 1. So
Gate 1's got to be a huge query here, I believe.
But I mean, you know, we're not left with a lot to play with here. I mean, Paint's been around and around and around, and Joey's now sending him around 7 days after after getting carved up in a fast run 1200 last week at Randwick.
Doesn't look the ideal setup for a race like this. A horse that always seems to be sometimes spected odds first up, Sweet Fire.
Yeah.
Could you find her here?
Well,
she looks to get the right run.
Look, you know, she's got a profile that fits here. Other than 1200, I'm going 1200.
Yeah.
Like we were worried about it, you know, like at 1400 last preparation.
Yeah.
But I mean, I suppose this configuration of a race
could just sit up perfectly for her.
Is just going to suit whatever horse it needs to.
Yeah, I just think she's drawn well. She sits in the right spot, and she's probably just got to run on. If I'm on her each race, she'll run a nice 4.
Anyway, I think that's a legitimate place to go.
It could be a legitimate place at a bit of odds. Grand Punto, what are we saying about him? The last 2 runs a little bit disappointing.
Well, I suppose, you know, the funny thing is that Burning Passion went so well last week that I think a lot of the horses that finished well astern of him didn't go that badly.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like Burning Passion just...
He was backed heavily and he went as well as he was back.
He went to the stratosphere last week, and horses like Shadow Lord and Paint, whatever. Paint was, you know, not in a great posse to run well, and Grand Punto was ridden quietly as he should be. Back to the scene of the crime of 3 starts back may be the key to him. Forget.
He's a funny one. He didn't fire last prep, comes back.
Well, he had 2 races where he couldn't fire, and then he drew Gate 1 at Canberra. I mean, I can make a case for him. Barbed is a funny one. He he's clearly been a very disappointing horse, but he's also spent a lot of time at Randwick and not much time at Rose Hill. He's sitting there sort of potentially able to do something. And
does he need Rock Hard Dry to see his best though? I think that could be a bit of a line in his...
Could be it. Even a horse like Sense and Reason that's Robert Price has taken over, so you know, she's her best days are behind her, but she's got the blinkers on. She's had a recent trial, and you know, she's just got one of those flukers chances.
Yeah. Kind of looks a race where El Sasso picks himself on top with question marks.
Yeah, El Sasso, you know, you just don't like declaring a horse that has things so tailor-made that they're the previous start.
The start before, yeah.
That's race 7. Race 8, well, we've got to have a fillies and mares race, and we've got to have a fillies and mares race with El Lou in it, and Thud. Thud is the $3 or 2-to-1 favourite. El Lou is 9-2 or $5.50. Out to Distraught at $9, Extensible $9. The backer upper, Bonate at $15, and Frill Seeking at $16, 19 bar those. Distraught is a horse that would like to lead, and Bonate, who's on the very quick backup from Wednesday, may have other ideas about that, may want to take it up herself. Frill Seeking will posse up, and Thud is just going to be there.
I'm a Thud. They're doing its thing.
Right, so
Now-
okay, let's just go back 2 months before Thud resumes. You go, Thud's going to be in a 1350 metre race. What do you think about that, Aaron?
Well, I think the same thing that I thought then. It won't run it down well. And we had that thing of, will she run 1200 metres? Now, she's obviously been unlucky twice at 1200 metres. But other than being unlucky over that last 50, she has to be ridden that way, and it's actually helped her finish so close, I think.
Yeah, so that's a good point you make, that it has assisted her to be unlucky.
Yes, it's assisted her to be unlucky, which it sounds a funny point to some people, but I think if she'd pulled out at the 300 and had clear running, she would have got beat. If she found a hole at the 50, she probably wins. She's that kind of horse. I could be wrong. One query with these 1350 races is that they sometimes can go quite slow, and if it does become a sit and sprint, well, she could get cuddled and she could get that miraculous win.
But she also needs to not produce too early.
She doesn't need. She's just got to. She has to be cuddled and ridden the way she has been ridden, and that will be a chance. But at 2-1, I will be laying.
Right. So where are you heading then? You're not just laying Thud.
A very rock solid horse in Winetails.
Right, okay. Winetails, who's had not much opportunity in 2 runs back, she gets 1350.
Yep.
Yeah, well, look, there'll be plenty that remember the old Winetails Berramilla debate. I'd be desperate for Winetails to stake some sort of claim in that contest.
Yeah, I think she would. Look, if you go off a first run, her first up run was rather good. She saw absolutely no running. She was about as unlucky as Thud, except she just never saw any clear running. The run was still a bit disappointing, I thought. I know things didn't go right for her. It was a bit disappointing to the eye, but that just could have been Chris Waller second up, a little bit
7
flat.
metre rail, I mean,
7 metre. There was a lot of things that you could say, and she did get clear late. Third up, this looks like her right race at the 1350. I give her a good chance. If she's ever to stand up and say, I'm going to be a racehorse, this is her race.
The resumer Extensible, who was pulled out of her race last week, she's set to resume this week instead.
I don't know what to make of her. Like, she looked like she was going to be that kind of promising sort of a horse, and then she'll be by I'll Take the Jag, who looked another one that was going to be a promising horse, has been disappointing. And then she's come out with 2 wins. I thought a win over Chempawi that day, she just kind of kept finding. It was laboured, but it was kind of gutsy at the same time. She's lightly raced. In a race like this, she's definitely, I think you've definitely got to play straight back with her. I couldn't step right into her, and I couldn't leave her out either.
Any thought on the backer-upper?
Another horse I don't know what to make of. I thought she was just a wet tracker, and
she hasn't found the line for a long time, but yeah, I mean, she's just going to be there.
She's going to be there. She gets beaten 1-2 lengths, and those horses become dangerous because sometimes the race shape just sets up for them, and then they're that 1 or 2 lengths closer, they win. Do I want to be on a no?
All right, you haven't mentioned El Lou.
And El Lou, we're getting to El Lou. I think she does her best stuff on really wet tracks. 4 starters, that's got to be number 1. I know she'll beat last start, but I think her better racing's at Randwick too. I think she just races better there. I'm happy to go around her. Okay,
so Aaron, this is Aaron, one of Aaron's big play races, in the sense that he's opposing the thick end of the market here. We've got more than 50% in 2 at the moment.
And I think and I'm not doing it heavily, but it's a race where you've got untrustworthy horses, and I think it's the race where you can play against them.
Well done, Aaron. I have had something on Bonate because she's backing up, obviously.
Yeah.
And I just thought that she would be targeted as a horse, to be shorter on the day. But other than that,
one other horse.
You've got. Hang on. Sorry.
When
sorry,
you're ready. Sorry. No, I didn't forget. Sorry.
Who is it?
It's been a long day. In a Wink.
In a Wink.
There
Second start for Groovy Scores. What have you got to say there?
I think she gets back to a firmer track. She was wide early. Things just didn't go right for her the other day. I'd be definitely willing to give her another chance.
Yeah, and perhaps it should be said at this point that we are operating on a very different track tomorrow. It's probably going to have the same description. Like, was that a 5 the other day?
6. I believe that's it.
2 weeks ago?
Oh no, sorry, 5. Yeah.
It was a 5, and currently Rosehill they're saying 7. But I mean, I just walked across Coogee Oval and I could never understand this. Like, that you might say 4. You might say 4, right?
4.
Worst
side of 4 just.
I don't understand why the racetracks are so wet, other than obviously they keep the grass very long.
Yeah.
And the length of the grass retains a lot of moisture.
It does.
But anyway, so I suppose tomorrow we're looking at a Rosehill that's probably similar in condition to 2 weeks ago, but because it's on a true rail, and 2 weeks ago was a 7 metre rail, they're actually different tracks.
They are. It's a very different track.
So keep that in mind. That's race 8, and Aaron has a lot to say about race 8. Race 9, well, we had to have another 1200 metre race this time for the Wednesday horses. Although obviously there are some winter Saturday horses in there, and the market at the moment sees Butterboom favourite at $4.40. We then head out to the very good wet track resumer Typhoon Jolie at $7.50. She's 3 from 4 at Rosehill. Night Rocker is at $9, a Point Percy 10, Kanachi 11, yada 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 yada. Puzzling 1 to 14, Iso Rich 14. Once again, not very inspiring horses. Certainly Butterboom is racing as well as she can with her blinkers. She's part of the van of the lead. Typhoon Jolie, first up last time, sprung out of the gates, and I'm anticipating that she'll be keen.
She will be keen.
So she's drawn wide. Obviously, Night Rocker would like a piece of the lead. And then we have horses like Kanachi, who's coming back in distance, but drawn out to sort of to be there. Even a horse like Agamore, who is now a bleeder, has a history of being on speed. No Bad Blood has been scratched several times and is another leader. And Regines won't be too far away with Iso Rich down underneath them. It's
looked a perfect race for Thud at 1200, didn't it?
Well, I guess Snowden is saying, look, I'm keen on the prospects of my resuming mare, who did come a bit of a thud at various stages last preparation, but has those wet track credentials, those Rosehill credentials. But is there a bit too much pressure up front?
Could she just slot in? Could she just take that 1 out, 1 back, find a little bit of cover there? If she was to find that, I think she's going to be extremely hard to beat. I looked through this race and I kept getting confused, thinking I was in the highway race. Yeah. Because you've got so many of these bush horses. I think she'll be close to the horse to beat. She comes in she's fresh. Butterboom, she's doing a good job. She's fit. I want to go with the fresh horse in the sprint trip here.
Well, also, that the stable's very much aware of her specialty, which is Rosehill, wet and fresh. Right? So, that the stable is going to tick all those boxes, and they found those conditions so that the intent will be there. I read all that into it. Any thoughts about a Point Percy, who did quite a good job, lightly raced horse last preparation? First preparation for Luke Pepper, only had, I think...
Do you think he wants just that little bit? Is he more of a 1,500 metre horse?
Oh, I'm sure he is.
1,200 fresh is fine, though. It's more going to be your point.
Oh, look, I don't know. It's hard to gauge his level because, of course, he ran in 2 midweek races, one at Canterbury and Tower of Song and the other at Warwick Farm, Multifacets. Both of them a bit Kleiner.
Yep.
And in between wins a highway race on his ear. Is he up to them? I'm not sure. What about a horse like Dragonflyer Fresh, who left a lot of punters cold, but a very good trainer, John Thompson,
and he's very good at getting them right fresh.
Yeah, I could certainly entertain Dragonflyer.
This is a very scary race.
It is a scary race.
When you're talking about you could really entertain Dragonfly now, it was a horse 3 preps ago. I thought, okay, he's another up and coming horse. Disappointing. But I think with these horses, these ones that have been disappointing, you want to be on them fresh. Their best runs tend to be fresh. I know he hasn't won fresh, but a lot of his best runs have come fresh. What about a horse like Bring Luck? Trolled, absolutely unreal. Good money for it, I believe, first up, and then did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, which is a while ago, and it hasn't been seen since. I'm surprised he's as long as $41.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to go there. But
didn't want to go there.
I remember you talking about his trial behind Amarata, and You know, he just didn't feature in the Heady Heights race, which is a slowly run race.
In No Bad Blood.
Well, I don't know. No Bad Blood's had such a checkered recent career. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
his
had lots of
recent
breaks.
his recent starts have not been good. If he got back to his best form fresh, he could easily run a GP race in this. But
Yeah, we could pick over the entrails of this race for quite a long time and not really get any satisfaction. I think we should leave it there, Aaron Macy.
we should.
And look, it's an interesting card, but as I say, it's a touch on the banal side for me. But obviously, it's still got to be run and won tomorrow. And anybody who takes $1 out of Rose Hill tomorrow will be thinking, "What a great card!"
What a great car. It's
There won't-
amazing how racing
yes.
works that way.
So Glenn's in the snow on Monday, so there'll be definitely no punters show this Monday. But it can't be far away.
But Glenn's in the snow. I'm tipping there's going to be another 350-1 winners that he would be in his stratosphere of backing. I think we had 2 of them last week, but there's going to be 3 this week.
All right, well, watch this space. I'll be back with a preview show next week. Now, don't forget, we've got products galore. The Punters Show has a product panel of insane integrity. We've got John Walder, who does such a great job across his number of products, a number of New South Wales products. He was the good boy that covered Grafton through the week as well. Darren Potter down in Melbourne, who really made that his own. Aaron Barbie in Adelaide. We've got John McLeod in Brisbane, and overlaying that are the Mounting Yard Mail. Glenn Pollitt in Sydney, Warren Huntley in Melbourne. How do you breathe without it? Don't forget, I'll have full coverage for Rose Hill, Kembla Grange. I love betting at Kembla Grange as well. In fact, I think you should concentrate on the Saturday provincial card because that's fertile territory in my opinion. And as I say, I'll be back on Friday with Aaron for another preview show. Thank you, Aaron.